Hello viewers and welcome to a special episode on my channel. On this episode, we'll be talking about a history topic of my own choosing. How has the evolution of technology and warfare impacted on how we fight wars? The evolution of technology and warfare has changed warfare from fighting in large numbers with basic weaponry to fighting in small numbers with high-tech equipment. This change has led to wars focusing on state-against-state warfare to state on non-state conflicts. Now just some helping notes for the video, as many subjects I am talking about may confuse some people. I will explain them beforehand. The three elements of warfare: infantry, pretty much foot soldiers that hold a position; shock, cavalry or vehicles in modern standards; fire support, siege weaponry and artillery. The 7 stages of warfare. The first stage, Age of Chariot, before 400 BC. This was the time of the ancient Egyptians and Middle Eastern kingdoms. The shock element was most prevalent due to the creation of the chariot, hence its name. However, fire support was limited due to technological standards. Second stage, Age of Legionnaires, 400 BC to 900 AD approximately. Its name is due to the legions of Rome. Infantry dominated this period of time due to better discipline and training. They also became better organized with time. Elephants also saw use but were obsolete due to new infantry tactics to counter them. Age of the Knight, 900 AD to firearms development. The shock element rose to power along with the expansion of the mounted heavy knight. Infantry was often underused or neglected due to nobles having bad opinions of them, especially archers. The fire support element was also developed but with the use of gunpowder as fortifications improved. Infantry gained the crossbow and eventually firearms, which destroyed the Age of the Knight. Fourth stage, Age of the Musket, firearm development to the American Civil War, from what I've deduced. Infantry gained the musket, which was the undoing of the heavy cavalry, but this stage mainly focused on fire support development. For example, development of concrete rockets, and transition from static siege to mobile guns, moved by horses. A new weapon also started to make an appearance. The fifth stage, the machine gun age, the American Civil War to the start of World War II. The rise of the dominance of fire support. In technological development, fire support leaded, then shock, then infantry. This dominance came with trench warfare as infantry dug in. Artillery also gained more power and range. The machine gun became more flexible and mobile. Air power also came into fire support, with artillery balloons to bombers. Naval warfare also saw the use of carriers and submarines. Sadly, cavalry died out due to the nature of trench warfare, colliding with cavalry combat. Then the tank came to power. Sixth stage, the mechanized warfare age, World War II to the end of the Cold War. All three elements were developed. Infantry, more portable support weapons and individual firepower, allowing smaller number of squads to cover a wider area. Development of the APCs to increase mobility, but developments were slow due to humans having to evolve, where technology is quicker to change. Shock dominated the battlefield, with the development of the main battle tank, or MBT for short. Also, to increase the power, they incorporated blitzkrieg ideas such as using air power to help shock units. Fire support developed very rapidly and saw the emergence of air power, with bigger bomb loads becoming more accurate. With laser-guided bombs and precision-guided munitions, close air support and long-range artillery were perfected during the Vietnam War. Weapons of mass destruction were also considered the ultimate form of fire support, but were considered failures due to the risk of escalation. The seventh and final stage of warfare, currently, the post-nuclear age, the end of the Cold War to the present day. Large-scale war has practically been eliminated and is dominated by projecting power in troubled areas and fighting insurgents. The loss of life is virtually unacceptable, so the infantry element is heavily defended. Also, mobility became a top priority in combat. The shock element became pressured to become smaller, more flexible, and lighter. Helicopter gunships and air cavalry became the new replacement for the 70-ton main battle tank. It is also projected that most aircraft will become unmanned within the next 50 years, and this coincides as fire support is becoming more long-range and accurate, as the Tomahawk missile is an example of this. All the helper notes have been sorted out. Let's break this question down into 2 parts. 1. Analyze how the elements of warfare have changed over time due to technology. 2. What technologies have specifically affected how we fight wars? Analyze, has the elements of warfare changed due to technology over time? Infantry, Age of Chariot. Unknown. Even though I looked through many sources, I couldn't find any relevant information. Age of Legionnaires, domination of infantry due to better discipline and organization with better equipment. The ability to adapt to cavalry attacks also helped. The Age of the Knight, infantry was underused or neglected due to infantry being thought as useless by nobles. Age of the Musket, firearms improved infantry value. Breech loading increased the value and firepower further. The Machine Gun Age, infantry suffered mass casualties due to machine guns. Infantry developed the least due to the dominance of fire support during this age. The Mechanized Warfare Age. Infantry had more portable support weapons and individual firepower, but development was slow due to human evolutionary standards. The Post-Nuclear Age. Infantry were heavily supported with other units. The number of infantry also shrunk due to the development of high-tech equipment, and mobility was key in modern warfare. Now on to Shock, Age of the Chariot. Chariots were the main shock unit. Shock element was most important during this time due to fire support being very limited. The Age of the Legionnaire. Not much development, apart from war elephants, but they were used in limited numbers. Age of the Knight. Heavy mounted cavalry reigned supreme. Nobles also only thought cavalry was the only thing worth on the battlefield. Mongols also used light cavalry when conquering Asia and to destroy other heavy cavalry. Age of the Musket. The development of firearms destroyed heavy cavalry, otherwise no other development. The Machine Gun Age. Cavalry died off due to trench warfare and barbed wire. Tanks took over near the end of this age. Mechanized Warfare Age. Shock dominated the battlefield with the main battle tank. Gunships and air cavalry was also integrated into the shock element. The Post-Nuclear Age. Shock became pressured to become smaller, more flexible, and lighter. The main battle tank became obsolete due to its weight. Helicopter gunships and air cavalry were taking over the shock element. Now to fire support. Age of the Chariot. Fire support was limited due to technological standards. Age of the Legionnaire. Fire support was developed slightly, like the Onager, otherwise not much information. Age of the Knight. Fire support integrated gunpowder as fortifications was improved. Mongols only used them when encountering fortifications. Age of the Musket. Fire support was developed heavily. It went from static siege to mobile fire support. More explosives were also used to help fire support. The Machine Gun Age. Artillery had extra range and damage. Air power was also integrated with aerial artillery balloons to bombers. The Mechanized Warfare Age. Fire support was developed very rapidly and saw the emergence of air power, with increased bomb loads becoming more accurate, with laser-guided bombs and precision-guided munitions. Close air support and long-range artillery were also perfected during the Vietnam War. Weapons of mass destruction were also considered the ultimate form of fire support, but were considered failures due to the risk of escalation. The Post-Nuclear Age. Fire support became more long-range and accurate, not only artillery, but unmanned aircraft and cruise missiles. Naval warfare also became a part of fire support to help destroy inland targets. Now onto the summary. Infantry seems to have been underutilized in the early stages of warfare. Laid down the track, individual firepower and mobility became a priority, but due to humans evolving slower than technology, the infantry element developed slower than the other elements. Shock was utilized in the early and middle stages of warfare. Currently, shock has to become more mobile as other units have to become more mobile. Unlike infantry, the shock element developed a lot quicker in a shorter amount of time. Fire support was utilized in the later stages of warfare due to technological standards. Currently, fire support is more accurate and deadly than ever. Fire support was developed heavily during the mechanized and post-nuclear age. Fire support became a major factor in war during and after World War I. What technologies have specifically affected how we fight wars? I have 4 that I can identify. Weapons of mass destruction, or WMD for short. Weapons of mass destruction have been used as deterrents for war, such as the Cold War. This has created proxy wars, where major world powers, i.e. Russia and the USA, fund wars in countries but don't get involved themselves. This is so the weapons of mass destruction aren't used on each other. These proxy wars still occur today, like the war in Syria, where Saudi Arabia funded ISIS, or ISIL as some people call it. Firearms and gunpowder. Naval combat was changed. Ramming and boarding were the main strategies before gunpowder and cannon development. But this was changed to firing missiles at a safe distance when cannons were usable. Infantry got a huge upgrade to their firepower, which was firearms, enabling them to destroy cavalry. Siege also became more effective, changing from ballistas to cannons. Internal combustion engine. This technology allowed us to develop tanks, trucks, aeroplanes, missiles, jets, and helicopters. Without it, we would be stuck in the 1800s, where the warfare would be focused on steam engines. What a joke. Radio. Before radios, runners, pigeons, and flags were used, but proved ineffective at times. Radios revolutionized how different forces communicated with each other. For example, Blitzkrieg was a huge success due to radio contact. The Germans plowed through the Netherlands, Belgium, and France in 10 days due to radio communication. To summarize, specific technologies like gunpowder and weapons of mass destruction changed the tactics in wars, and the internal combustion engine and radio improve what tactics can be implemented. Now that I have given you the answer and the evidence to that answer, I have completed what I had to do. See you guys next time on another video.